Okay, so looking at our mission statement here, our mission here is to create the greatest group of professional traders compiled in the world. We work tirelessly every day to improve our individual selves and push each other to get the most out of one another. With each individual's personal accountability, 100% effort, and consistent action towards focusing on our controllables, we'll each reach our full potential individually and as a family. I, Stefanos, pledge to be the best version of myself today, to do whatever it takes to be the greatest trader that I can be and to be the most self-disciplined person that I know. I will do the things I have to do today, regardless of how I feel, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. I will control what I can control and not worry about anything else. Horse blinders. All right, so reminders, we do not overtrade, we do not over risk. You don't need to catch a trade today. 1 to 2 trade ideas per day. That's it. 3 if you see that perfect setup. It's got to be that setup where you're like 90% sure it's going to play out. Capital preservation, keep your capitals from yesterday over capital appreciation. Although capital appreciation is very important, you want to grow your account. You also want to keep your profits too. So if your trade is really going against you, do not hesitate to cut some losses. So risk management is number 1. Keep your trading plan in front of you. Read it, right? Make smart decisions. That's what you're focusing on today. Whether you're, it's pre-trade, while you're in the trade, or post-trade, make smart decisions. And when I say post-trade, make smart decisions, journal that trade so that you can learn from it. Study it. We are system-oriented, not how much money can I make on this one trade. Think longevity, think efficiency, think long-term. We aren't here just to make as much as we can this week. We're here to learn. We're here to get better. We're here to become better traders on a daily basis. We want to become better traders over the course of our lives. So if you focus on that every single day, that's going to get you to do the task to get you better every single day. And then eventually you're going to become much, much better and more confident in your trading. So if that's what your focus is, that's it's in the right spot. But have a sense of urgency today and eliminate excuses and any victim mindset whatsoever. You are here because of your decisions alone, and you're going to get to where you want to be because of your decisions alone as well. Full accountability for your actions. So looking at the economic calendar right now, what we have today is prelim GDP, unemployment claims as well. So this is going to be our main focus for today. I'm sure charts and some of our pairs might be ranging until there. Yesterday, let's go over the FOMC meeting yesterday. They came out much more hawkish than what most people probably would expect, but at the same time, we were kind of expecting that. Us personally, we were expecting him to come out a little bit more hawkish. We saw what they were saying in the previous days of, wanting to increase rates. We had a couple people vote for a 50 basis point increase. Majority did vote for still a 25 basis point increase, but they all came together and determined that inflation is still a very important thing to get rid of right now. Like, they're trying to bring inflation down. That's public enemy number 1 for them. So they're going to do it by any means necessary. And again, we've had great job data. We've had a lot of good, surprising data coming out of the U.S. but we've also had higher CPI, right? And tomorrow, PCE will be a big indicator of where our inflation is right now. And they are expecting 0.1% increase month over month from January. So that'll be interesting. But GDP, when it comes to a country, like, obviously inflation's the main focus right now for the US and for most countries around the world. But when it comes to a country's health, right? Like, how good is this country producing like a company, right? GDP is number 1 for that, right? When we look at currencies and when we're trading Forex, interest rates are number 1. That's most important when it comes to the value of a currency. But when it comes to the health of a country and where that country is headed and the money that it's producing as a country, GDP is number 1, right? So that's what we got quarter to quarter over here for last quarter. They're expecting 2.9% increase in GDP, and then unemployment claims are expecting a little hike, but not by much. So the only reason why this would move the market right here is if there's a big surprise, either a lot lower or a lot higher, which would be bad. But again, GDP, if this is a big surprise as well, we're going to see a nice move. We're going to get some volume today. But, typically these data points, like I've been going over the past couple months, is like, they're important, but not nearly as big as they were, let's say, 2-3 years ago, right? When we were trading all these little things and before COVID came out, before interest rates were a huge thing. Obviously, they've always been a big thing when it comes to currencies, but you know, a lot of these data points that have come out every single week used to give us like big moves. Now they only give us big moves if there's a big surprise in the market. So just keep an eye on that. Obviously, we will as a group. And that's pretty much our main focus for today. Euro, we had final CPI come out. Their final core CPI over here rose just a little bit, but final CPI year over year came out exactly as they were expected. So not much of a surprise there. It did increase over the previous year, but right over here, CPI, final core CPI over here did raise a little bit. But that's about it when it comes to the economic calendar. Like I said, you say something, Aziz?
No, nothing, man.
Okay.
I don't say nothing.
Cool. When it comes to the economic calendar, like I said, that's about it. But yesterday, just keep in mind that Powell and you know, the way he was answering questions, they are very hawkish and they are willing to continue to increase rates until they get inflation down. So let's get into the charts over here. All right. So move you guys over so I get some space. All right, so looking here at the monthly, again, monthly has not changed too much when it comes to, you know, we go over the monthly every single day just to keep a good practice, but the current monthly candle, again, we've created that higher low. We have passed the high of that previous candle. We know that we are retracing a little bit when it comes to the current monthly candle. We did have a nice push in the beginning of the week. Now we're retracing a little bit, but, you know, based on these candles alone, tell me that, again, with further Japanese yen weakness, this thing should continue up. It's just right now we're tracing to continue up, especially after breaking that consolidation that we've been right over here. So since breaking that area, obviously we've been bullish, but at the same time we are retracing, and always expect something like that. Do not be one of those traders where, you know, you're just expecting a huge move every single time price breaks out of consolidation, but you are playing history. You are understanding that this might end up getting moved up here, but we'll just keep it there right now because we are still on the weekly. But again, what you're trying to do is play history, where every time you get like some kind of a consolidation, you had one right over here, price broke out, you got a nice move. You had a consolidation right up top over here. When we broke out with that candle, price just moved. But that doesn't mean that this weekly candle didn't retrace a few times where it pushed out, pulled back, and then continued down. Doesn't mean that didn't happen just because we have a huge weekly candle here. So now that we're breaking out of this consolidation, right? Got the clean move to the left. You had a clean move to the left over here. Once you broke that support, you had this move to mirror right over here, right? So now you're playing history. Can we mirror that same exact move right here? I'm telling you, I definitely think we can, right? But again, we just need to, you know, retrace a little bit. We need to retest some certain areas, grab liquidity, and then continue right back up. So looking at the daily now, the daily, again, I knew we were going to move this up over here. That's your previous resistance. You get that wick right there, resistance over here with candle bodies. And what we did was we created this high. We get a nice pullback. What's the first hint from any of you guys? You know, anyone can answer this. What's the first hint that we should be continuing up here? At least on the daily. What did yesterday's daily give us? Going once, going twice.
Close with no bottom wick.
Good shit, Carlos. Yep. So we didn't get a bottom wick on this candle. Strong body, right? Just no bottom wick. Now this candle looks a little bit like a doji candle where you got like that, it's bullish. We passed low the previous candle. We are now bullish. We have that top wick. Now we've obviously retraced from that top wick, that high that it created already. And right now, can we hold this support over here? But this is great job, Carlos. That is our first hint that price should be holding support to continue up. Now, if it doesn't, you know, that's completely fine. We're going to be ready for either side of the market when it comes to that. But as far as we're concerned right now in the daily, we got one hint already that we're going to be holding support here. Now, looking at the 4 hour, what are we starting to kind of form over here? Now, if you guys don't get this, I don't blame you because it's not a traditional look of it. But does anyone know what we see right over here that we're starting to form? If we get a bullish candle here?
This setup is W.
Double bottom. Yep.
W.
Perfect. So right now, again, when we follow a bullish candle with a bearish candle, that forms a resistance, right? So we need something to close above that area. Maybe on the lower time frames, we could see if there's something that we could scalp from here to bring price all the way up to our highs up here. But again, based on the 4 hour alone, what we see is like, okay, safer buys are probably going to be if we can break above that resistance to continue right back up. And we know there's a good chance that we have some solid volume or some solid range that we can retest that high. So we got a resistance right over here. Clean moves over here to retest that high. As long as we hold the support, there's no reason why we can't retest that high. Clean move to the left as well. Right. So now, yeah, this will probably end up being 108 pips. You got that wick right there. We'll see if that's a resistance on the lower time frames. Yeah, see, as you're starting to get into here, you got that move right there. So now we scale, adjust. And now what we're starting to see is we kind of held, like obviously we got this level right here. Let's see if we should adjust this previous resistance right here. Oh, don't want to do that. Damn, where's the oh, there we go. Awesome. Sorry if I ever get you guys dizzy on here, that's my bad. All right, so what we ended up getting over here, we obviously know this is a wick right over here. So on the 30-minute, that may be like an actual double bottom over here where price came into this area. But on the 1 hour right over here, we kind of held like some kind of a support right there, didn't we? And what we see here is that we held that support, bounced off that area. Right over here, we closed below that area on the 1 hour, and then closed right back inside that area with that bullish candle. This bearish candle tapped into this area, came up to create this high, past the high of the previous candle, and again closed above 162,300 right here. Right now, this candle obviously respected the low. It's now passing the high of that candle, and it's now starting to form its what's it called? It's fake out, right? So can this candle continue up, or we just get a solid close over here on the 1 hour at 8 o'clock, and the next candle creates a bottom wick, flips bullish, and continues back up to that area, right? So right over here, based on the 1 hour alone, if you guys are looking for some kind of a swing trade right now, and you're looking to capitalize from this a little bit earlier on, I would say maybe a safe stop loss. It really depends on the 30-minute too, but if you were to enter right there with your stop loss right over here to retest that whole area right there, that would be high risk, high reward buys, right? You're already starting to see that start to play out. And now if you're not comfortable taking this yet, which I highly recommend, if you're not going to take it, then what I would do is just journal it, see how it plays out, journal every single time frame, journal every single step that it takes as far as like candles moving and closing and certain things that you want to take note of, and put that in your journal so that you could study this over and over and over again, so you could grab these moves in the next couple months, right? So looking at the 30-minute, let's see what we got for safe buys. Safe buys, again, are still going to be above this area, because once you break above this area, you're now changing structure. And now these will be safer buys with, again, a big enough range where we take this up to around like 90 pips over here to retest that high. And I strongly believe that this will break through that resistance to continue up with further Japanese yen weakness. But again, you're breaking this previous resistance that we rejected multiple times right here and right here. So if you could get a solid close above this resistance right over here, bottom wick forms, flips bullish, that thing will continue up. Now there's certain areas that you may want to secure, like right halfway through, maybe take off 25%, 50%, 80%, whatever you're comfortable with, and then ride this thing back up to the top. Now again, you can also use dynamic risk in these situations as well, where you split your risk up between, like, if you were to enter, if you got like that perfect setup over here, like a 2% setup, right? Price holds that support, and you get a solid bullish candle closing in your direction, split your risk up between 1% and 2%, or 1% and 1%, right? Both the same entry, same exact stop loss, but at the same time, one of them you're securing like you typically would, riding that thing up. The other one, you're securing a little bit less and letting this thing run, and that's the one that you're going to let run through 163,600 to hold the rest of the week. Because again, these are those situations and setups on the daily that you want to treat like a 30-minute, where we finally get, again, if this is the 30-minute time frame, you get a resistance right over here. We broke the resistance. We're retesting that previous resistance, which is now holding a support so far, right? And we could possibly be continuing up and mirroring that move to the left. So again, if you treat this daily like the 30-minute, your stop loss would be below that candle, right? Especially if this candle closes a weak bullish candle, you might want to wait for the next candle to create a bottom wick, flip bullish, and continue back up to that area, right? But again, that's where swing trading or turning scalps into swings comes into play. And if you're not ready to do that yet, that's where you start to journal them and study those moves over and over and over again until they're stuck in your brain. Most people don't want to do that though. So you guys are at an advantage right now. So many lazy people in this world right now. You guys are at such an advantage because you're gonna pass them, right? There's so many more lazy people today than there were, I would say, maybe 10 years ago. Just 10 years ago. Forget about 20 years ago, but 10 years ago, I think there's so much more lazy people that don't want to work, they don't want to do anything, people in your family, people in your friend group, all these people that acquaintances that you went to school with, all these people are all so lazy, right? They don't want to work, they want handouts. Do not be like that. You guys have an advantage. If you look at it from that lens, it's like, all right, let me outwork these people. It's easy. But at the same time, they shouldn't be your competition. You should have that friendly competition within this group. That's why this community is together, because you guys should be pushing each other to get the most out of one another. Like our mission statement. It's like if you guys see each other slacking, it's like, yeah, let's go. Don't be a dickhead, but at the same time, it's like, where you been? What's going on? Let's work. Let's backtest. Let's get better. Let's make money. So we're getting a nice bullish push over here. Like I said, stop loss below this area right here where price could continue right back up. But let's take a look at gold now. And we'll go to the US 30 and then we'll follow that as it's going through. So looking at gold, again, extremely bearish, more of a hawkish Fed, right? No surprise there. We're continuing down. I know the current daily candle is pretty bearish right now as well. And we're just, in a free fall as far as correcting that move from October, actually November, December, and January over here. Extremely bullish months. Now we're completely rejecting that previous resistance over there. So looking at the weekly now, yeah, see the weekly candle's pretty bearish, starting to fill that wick over there, breaking through 1830, right? We're now around 1825 here. This was our area that we ended up rejecting. Previous resistance to the left. Strong bearish candles coming down. So looking at the daily now, not much we gotta break down here. Ooh, daily looks great. Daily looks like one of those typical 30-minute setups that we look for. Break and retest over here, holding some kind of a resistance right in here. And we've been pushing, creating these lower highs ever since this area right over here. We had that nice resistance that we respected to the left, and we just keep getting the same pullbacks and impulsive move, pullback, impulsive move to retest the low, and then push through the low to create a new low, right? But right now we're starting to approach this area right over here. You have a wick right there that price ended up bouncing off of, because look, every time we tap into this area, we get a nice rejection, rejection, rejection. Finally closed above, and then after that, we were off to the races. But now what happened was the last time that we came into that same exact area right over here, what did we end up getting? A wick rejection, right? Not only a wick rejection, but the candle flip bullish, right? But right now, again, with the fundamentals on our side, the sentiment on our side, this thing should be continuing down even more. But right now, this current daily candle is kind of struggling to break, flip bearish and continue down. But let's see the lower time frames. Let's see the 4-hour. So the 4-hour, we're just going to adjust right over here. That's our resistance. We've been really ranging in this area over here, right? We had a few nice moves yesterday. I journaled them. I should have taken them, but I was not on the charts as much as I wanted to be yesterday, just due to zooms and stuff like that. But we got a nice bearish push closing below this area. Again, retested that support. Now we're at that support. Right now, what I want to do is probably, yeah, I'm gonna adjust that area right there, because that's where you have all these wicks, and on the lower time frames, 30-minute, 1 hour, that might be a resistance over there. But looking here at the 4 hour, that's your 4 hour support. We also respected that area over here. We did get a liquidity grab with that bearish candle tapping into that area, flipping bearish and closing bearish. But now this candle has created its top wick, passed low of the previous candle, but now we're tapping into that support again. So let's look at it on the 1 hour. 1 hour, we can kind of adjust it right there. That's our current support right in that area. Looks like we keep rejecting it as we held support right there, and then these wicks rejected it as well. So you need a strong close below that level, but at the same time, you do have this support to the left. All these wicks to the left that you got to worry about. But I think I'll still keep this zone right there, right where it is. Let me see the 30-minute for a second. Yeah, I'll keep that where it is. Now, with that being said, what you have over here, you may want to wait for that break and retest. Now, I'm going to mark this off right here. That might be a range that you want to stay out of, but I think there's going to be an opportunity in there. But right over here is probably your next destination. Got that next support. Below that, you got this area right over here. You could catch a trade into, and then below that, you got right over there. But it really depends right now what we end up getting below this area. Can we hold this resistance right over here? Can we close below? I think we can, right? Our main bias is bearish. So anytime you see a nice setup where price is holding resistance and closing below this area over here, you could possibly take this down. Now, in this range, you might want to keep your risk low. And then once we start breaking below 1820, 700, yeah, 1820, 700, 500, somewhere around there, then you could start increasing your risk, knowing that price is continuing down over here. But I do like this. It's giving us like that same kind of a pattern where you hold that resistance over here, you start to break, you get that move. Then we pull back, you get like this liquidity grab over here, and then you get this impulsive move. Pull back, get this liquidity grab, impulsive move. So now what we just need to see is that close below the support.
Stefanos, I have a question.
Sure. What's up?
In this case, you depend the news now. The price is stay like that before the news. After he depend the candle what he come. If he come in here, the 5 minute, the body in the middle, and the news is good, the gold is go down. You short.
It'll
Something like
strengthen the
that.
dollar.
Exactly.
Exactly. So if we get good, let's take a look at GDP over here. If we get a big surprise in GDP as far as being good, right? That's going to signal to the Fed that they can start increasing rates or can continue to increase rates or possibly even take those rates to 50 basis point increases, right? So that'll continue gold down. That'll continue to shoot the dollar up. Now, the dollar is at a previous resistance right now, right? We ended up holding that support over here and continuing up, creating higher lows and higher highs. That's where you're getting these lower highs and lower lows here on gold, right? So if we get a nice surprise over here and GDP is at like 3.2, 3.3% quarter to quarter, that'd be awesome. And that would send gold continuing down. I would say down to like 1800, right? But now we also have PCE tomorrow. So you got to keep that in mind as well. Right, but today today's a big focus, and today should give us a nice solid move over here. So we'll continue to monitor gold. Right now, I think it's just going to consolidate until news. So we're just going to stay patient and wait for our setup before we ever end up entering a trade. All right, so looking now at US 30. Again, with a hawkish Fed, where should this pair be going? Down, right? So we're holding that resistance right over here, right? Same exact place, coming down. We're now approaching 33,000. It's that critical level that we've been holding support in. Still sitting in this range right over here. But again, this is a strong demand zone where we bounced off before. So you're at least going to see some kind of a retracement off this area on the lower time frames before it continues right back down. Now looking at the weekly over here, got that support. Price holding that resistance. Again, remember we ended up rejecting this area for that final time with this candle right here. You get that small top wick, past low of the previous candle, and ever since Powell spoke yesterday, we've been really bearish over here and continuing down. But now again, we're approaching this support here. Looking at the daily, over here, we ended up breaking below that previous area, right? Previous support, resistance. And now we're starting to approach this area right here. And what you ended up getting was, here's your first hint, right? Strong bearish candle close, right? Close right down here, but what happened? Barely a bottom wick, right? Then this candle closed a lot weaker. It closed a fairly strong candle, but a lot weaker than that one. You didn't get a top wick, and price pushed all the way down here and closed down here as well, right? We ended up closing again right at this support. What happened last time we were at that support and we came down from this area into that area, right? We ended up bouncing off and continuing back up to that area. So what are the chances price bounces off this area and at least comes into here to then continue down? They're pretty high, right? I don't think it will, we'll come back up into this area. Could happen. We don't know yet. We're going to follow the candles and watch them close. But at the same time, it's probably not going to happen. There's not enough optimism in the market. We're on the verge of World War III here. And you also have a hawkish Fed, which is pushing this pair down. Not much excitement in the market right now. So here we go. Sitting right back at this support right over here. Price just tapped into it, right? Holding this support. Last time this happened, got a nice bullish push. It's not going to look exactly the same, but would you say that you have safe buys above that area? This is one of those instances where there might be an opportunity for you guys to take short-term buys above this area. Now, typically in the last year, I would say we've been more of a central bank focus, and if we get good news, it's kind of bad because they're going to be increasing rates and stuff like that. I do think that if we get a really good GDP over here, right, if we get a big surprise or something like that, I think that will push us up over here, and we'll at least get a nice move coming up into that area before price holds resistance and then continues right back down. Right, so we're getting a complete fake out right now where we've closed back into the range, pulled back to retest that area, holding support, and possibly continuing up into that area. But if you get a close above that area, you get a clean move to the left. This is another one of those opportunities where we talk about being able to catch the pullback, close the full thing up here, or at least 90% in case price continues up, to then take the sell and then grab this move as well coming down. Got about 200 points in here. Right, so that's a nice area. I actually like what's going on over here in the 1 hour, where we ended up just getting this liquidity grab over here, bullish candle close. I like that bullish candle close. Bottom wick formed on this candle, passing the high of the previous candle over here with this move to the left, right? But you got to wait for, I would say, this candle to close. Actually, let me see the 30-minute. With the 30-minute looks good. Now, the question is, do we want to take a trade before GDP? Now, there's an opportunity to possibly do that, at least an hour before news comes out. But if this is like 8:15, you don't want to do something like that. But what I'm seeing here is We keep rejecting this area, right? We closed above. Now, the only problem is there's not much of a wick on that candle. We just completely rejected this whole area, and this could end up being a fake out over here, or just a deeper pullback into this area before news comes out, and then price continues right back up. But I was going to say, if this candle can respect the low of the previous candle, past the high of that candle, that could possibly be a move up before GDP comes out. But you may just want to wait. You may just want to wait for a new, almost like gold, or actually GJ. The way GJ just formed right over here, right? Within the range, it actually looks very similar. Clean move to the left, right? We create that bottom wick, like liquidity grab, bullish candle close, bottom wick forms, past the high of that candle, and continues up within the range. That came out before US GDP, right? And this is what I was talking about. A candle like this is something I like to see, right? Even before price closes above this area, this is another big hint, especially with this fake out right here, that price could continue through this area. And I think we saw this a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken. Where did we see this move? Maybe it was on gold, another pair. Just doing my back testing real quick. It was like a move where we didn't close above yet, but it looked nice enough to take that up. I pointed it out like Monday or Tuesday. I'll find it. Find it at some point. Yeah, I'll find it at some point. But what we have over here is, maybe it was US 30, I forget. But again, we're holding this resistance over here, right? Can price close above this area and continue up? Does anyone remember that? This is driving me nuts now. Where we ended up getting a solid move below the resistance, but price ended up breaking through it and continuing up. And like I was pointing out, like this was the key that price could continue up.
I think it was yesterday on gold.
Yesterday and gold, huh?
I think it's 7.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it was this. Great job.
Yeah.
Thank you. This move right here. That looks similar at all? Right? Say this bearish candle ends up closing. Kind of like that. Can we get a bullish candle? That's awesome. Thank you, Lim. I knew it was gold or US 30. Bottom wick forms on the next candle, passes the high and continues up. Anyone see that? That's actually exactly the way the candles look. Look at that. The candle on GJ barely had that top wick. This candle hasn't even closed yet, so it could close a weak bearish candle. Bottom wick forms, past the high of the previous candle, never closed below that or above this area or even this area right here, and price just shot up. Now, that came with news as well, and then price continued right back down. But I could see this playing out based on this being a huge liquidity zone for price to continue up. This was that previous resistance. So let's see. So again, safe buys are going to be above here. But like I said, from down here, I could see if your stop loss was down here that this could be a successful buy over here. Now, I've been experimenting myself with entries like that. So what I'm doing is journaling that, and in the next few weeks, I'll be catching these. So we all clear on our pairs?
Yeah.
See how gold's holding that support over here? Right? We're not closing below that area. Told you this was a very significant liquidity zone for price to tap into, and we really need a strong close below there before price continues back up. Now, if you were to take this buy, which I could see it being a successful buy to continue up into there, that would be risky, especially before GDP, right? But I could see it playing out and then continuing back down. But this is one of those situations where you're probably just going to want to wait for the resistance to form and continue down. Because although we see technically we have a liquidity zone over here and prices shot up from that area, and that could very well happen over here, that's technicals. Now we have fundamentals and sentiment on our side where everything is pretty much bearish on gold. We have a what's it called? A hawkish Fed. We have a hawkish Fed, not much optimism in the market, and a strong US dollar again. US dollar is continuing right back up. Higher lows, higher highs since beginning of February. We're now February 23rd. Been bullish ever since. So now we need some strong economic data to push us through, 104,600. But, if that happens, I could see this continuing up. And then this pullback over here on the 1 hour, right, is basically just on the 1 hour over here. That's where you have the retracement, the support being held right here. So this is one of those situations where you really just want to wait for the lower high to be formed, take that down. Lower high to be formed, take it down. Right here, take it down. Right? You don't want to be, coming in on these like short impulsive moves. You're not trying to grab these right here. Like this isn't the time. You're not trying to grab those. You're trying to trade with the trend, wait for price to form that resistance, and then take price down. Resistance, take price down. That would have been a great trade yesterday. I think it's easy. You call part of that, which is great. So right over here, you're looking for resistance to form. Take that right back down. It's been choppy. Don't get me wrong. There's only been a few nice moves. This is the one from 2 weeks ago that we ended up catching, that fake out, right? There's only been a couple clean moves coming down over here, but I could definitely see us getting something like this once we form a resistance and continue down. Just going to want maybe a wider stop loss. And then US 30. This is why you guys want to wait for candles to close, in this situation at least. And most of the time anyway, but there are some setups where you don't need that close below, kind of like, or close above, kind of like that gold setup yesterday. But right over here, you need that close above here, right? We need, you have all these wick rejections here. 30-minute. Again, you need to wait for the bottom wick to form, pass the high of the previous candle, and continue up. But now we're passing the low. And plus, there's pessimism in the market. You'd be trading against the trend anyway going this way. So now just wait for this fake out. Wait for, I would say, bad GDP. I would say it's difficult right now because we're in that window of wondering if good news is good news or is good news bad news for the market. You get what I'm saying? Like last year was all, good news is bad news. Now this year is kind of switching a little bit. So that's why you really want to wait for the reaction to the news, see how everything plays out, wait at least 5 minutes, and then you could possibly enter. But this GJ setup is starting to turn into what we saw yesterday, right? This candle's starting to retrace a little bit. We could get that weak bearish candle. If we get a bottom wick on the next candle, past the high of the previous candle over here, could you put your stop loss somewhere over here to anticipate? You put your stop loss somewhere below that wick as it passed the high to anticipate that. See how it pushed through all this area? You just got to know where to secure. And for us, I would say maybe in this area, you want to take some profit. All right, any questions, guys?
Not really. I'm just getting ready to live backtest this GJ push if it happens. It's interesting.
Like it. Awesome. Yeah, if you're not ready to take that, you're not comfortable with it, you don't have to, right? Just watch it play out.
Yeah, and record it.
100%. Like it's I can't express how important it is to journal these trades. I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but like, you know, you have to pay your dues, right? As a beginner trader, as someone like that's not confident in the way they're trading yet, or they're not confident in some of these setups yet, you have to pay your dues by studying them and writing in an AAR, writing in. I've actually been because my AARs are so long now, and you know, I don't have enough room to be writing in like a small journal like this, like my AARs. So now what I'm doing is only my morning AARs. I don't know if you can see this. My morning AARs and my end of day AARs in the journal. And what I'm doing is transferring the, what's it called? Where is it? Let me try to find this for you. Trading journal. Here we go. There you go. So I'm trying to transfer my trading AARs to this, right? And I'm gonna do a different formation over here. Instead of like doing it by pair, I'll do it by the day, and then the pair will be, you know, 3 bullet points here, right? Instead of doing the week and then the pair, and then I got to do separate, you know, for gold over here, separate for, you know, US 30 and everything. But I like when you guys are typing this out, and what you can do too is, you know, write in your AAR, right over here when you're looking. You got like your journal over here where you're looking at the screenshots, where you're looking at the what's it called, the chart. You could be recording everything about that trade, everything that you want to say about it, all that stuff. Record it here, and then you could just copy and paste this into your description section into that trading journal on Trello. But this is all the psychology behind the move, right? And when you guys are writing this out to yourself, I can't express to you, those of you that have been doing your AARs, whether it's morning AAR, trading AAR, or end of day, you guys are already seeing the benefits of writing to yourself. And it only takes one journal entry to be like, wow, this is actually powerful. Like I'm writing to my future self about what I'm seeing today. It's almost like you guys finding, you know, your great-great-grandfather's journal about what he was doing back in, you know, late 1800s. And like how he came to America, or how he came to France and, you know, saved the family and all that stuff. Like you guys can do that for your trading journal. Your trading see how this thing's flipping over here? The 15-minute ends up looking exactly the way we just saw, right? Barely a top wick. Barely a top wick. Where is it? Right here. Weak bearish candle. Bottom wick form past the high. Now, the only issue is we don't have that bottom wick over here. Right? We need that bottom wick on this candle. And also, this is the 15-minute, which is pretty weak. So, and this is more of a risky entry anyway. So, you really need some solid volume to push you through something like this. But I do want you guys to journal this move right here. Right? This is the one we were talking about. Capitalizing on a partial fake out, I would say. I would consider it a fake out. Right? But then getting this higher low formed right here. Bottom wick forms past the high of that candle with 7 a.m. volume. Clean move to the left, which is basically capitalizing on this right over here. It's just a different form. Just trying to grab this candle. How can we grab this candle? Why did that candle play out? All those questions you just want to ask yourself. All right. All right. So we got time before. Wow, look at that. We got a little rejection here on gold. See, we're just going to consolidate before GDP. That's where you just want to wait for news to come out or data to come out. Data. And that's where you want to trade. That's where you want to. Again, we got 2 bullets today, guys. 2 bullets. How are you going to use them? You want to wait for after news, because you guys know that, you know, you could trade the reaction to the news even at like 8:35, right? And that could be your first trade. And then, you know, you got all New York Stock Exchange open. You got 10 a.m. volume. You got 11 a.m. volume up until around, I would say, 12. And then, typically, sometimes you get that late afternoon move around like anywhere from 1:30 to 3, like late New York after lunch. So like, where do you want to use your 2 bullets? And that 3rd bullet, you better have that perfect setup. That's like your emergency bullet. All right, who wants to break down some charts? Who wants to shake off some rust?
I'm just labeling on this chart up, but I will in a minute if no one else wants
Okay.
to.
Good shit, man. What you should be doing anyway, right? Good shit. All right. I gotta let you guys know about next week. So unfortunately, we're only gonna have one live session next week. We got to go visit my wife's family down in Washington D.C. But I'm gonna do a midweek live stream on Wednesday in the morning, right? And then that week, like next week, I'll have time to hop on a ton of Zooms with you guys. So I want to, schedule some Zooms, check on you guys, check on some charts together, and see where you guys are looking at. See, what the health of your accounts are and what you're trying to accomplish, stuff like that. If you guys, I mean, all you guys have finished the course besides Aziz so far. So this could just be a nice checkup Zoom, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, where we just go through, check on your momentum, see where you're at, what we need to work on, all that stuff. So next week is going to be more focused on one-on-one meetings, individual Zooms and stuff like that. And then the week after, we're going to pick up with our live streams. But, when it comes to, trading in the morning and stuff like that, I'll be active, I'll be up, and we're going to be talking in the chat and everything. And, I'll be updating you guys on what I'm taking, stuff like that. Sound good?
Cool, sounds good.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to do a chart.
All right, awesome.
Do you want
Carlos,
to
were you
pick
saying
something
something?
for me?
Yes.
I was just saying it sounds good.
Okay. Awesome, man. How's your momentum doing?
It's great, man. It's really great. I was just listening to what you was talking about the A&Rs, and like it's true. I started back again yesterday, and I had a great day, and yeah, day 2, I'm feeling great.
100%. And I can't express enough too how important at least the morning and the end of day, when you're writing pen to paper, about yourself, about how you were feeling that day, what you're no longer going to stand for, the new standards that you want to set, all those things, writing that pen to paper. Trading AAR is important as well to write down, but at the same time, you could type that up too, right? Especially if you have like, I feel like it's better to have that on a Word document or Google Sheets, whatever you want to do, Google Docs, so that you can write everything that you want, and then also you could copy and paste that over to your description, because a lot of what you write in that can you could put that in your description as well, so that when you go back to that card on Trello, you can go back and reread it. All right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, Charlie boy, you're up.
Okay, could you choose a pair?
Choose a pair. Yeah, I got a USD JPY here.
Okay. So most recent support resistances are here.
Okay. So
Oh, in fact, maybe put that one up there at the top of the wick.
yeah, I mean it'll probably end up being that in a lower time frame, so it's good you're starting to recognize that. When it comes to this, would you want to move this a little bit down, right over here?
Yeah, put that one down too. Thanks.
Okay, move that right there. Awesome. All right, so looking at the weekly now. Now you might be able to adjust again.
Yeah, if you could just bring them down a bit. Great.
There you go.
Got one here. Maybe it's better up here.
Yes. 100%. There you go. Now, what did we just break through? Okay, I like that. 100%.
And we've just broken through this zone here.
Nope, I saw it right here.
Yeah.
Okay. It could possibly end up being like right here.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
let's
rounded.
keep it right there, and then we'll see what we got going on, because we just closed through that level. That was a previous resistance over here, and we'll see. And that kind of encompasses that last area anyway.
Sure.
All right. What's up, Lenny?
Hey,
How are you, man?
just came back shoveling snow.
You're shoveling snow?
Yeah, we got a shitload today.
We did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, Charlie. Okay. So I would say like something like right here, because you got that previous resistance or support, got that wick resistance, wick rejection right over here. We broke through. We finally closed above, holding support. Could be continuing up over here. We just need, again, we what we have here is further strength in the U.S. dollar as of late, right? The last couple of weeks over here, right? And now, as long as we can hold that support, more strength in the U.S. dollar, weakness in the yen, this thing could continue up to where?
Yeah, that looks like the direction it's going for now. Anyway. Could we head down to the 4 hour, please?
Would you want to readjust this one though?
Not sure.
That is 138 look for you.
Let me just move the thumbnails. Oh, you mean to the top of these wicks up here?
There you go. Beautiful. Now again, like I mean, you might be right. This could end up being like a our next
I was
resistance.
just thinking of the, yeah, I was just thinking of those wicks and possible TPs, but it's probably a bit early on the day to be thinking about TPs if I'm trading on the 1 hour and a half hour.
I would say like if you're on these higher time frames, just focus on the individual time frame, right?
Sure.
Like you're
Okay.
focused on all right, what can possibly be happening over here. You know, in this time frame, this is the resistance for the daily. If we gotta adjust that on the lower time frames, we'll end up doing that. But when it comes to the daily, okay, we're focusing on this time frame. Now let's go to the 4 hour. We could just adjust a little bit.
Okay.
So looking at the 4 hour now. All right. It's a little tricky, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's fun
Yeah,
soft.
what's going on here?
Looks like GJ's rejecting that level a little bit.
Yeah, it's beginning to look more like what we saw yesterday, isn't it? 1 minute to go.
Yes, sir. You need help?
Oh, sorry, I'm just looking at GJ now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a bit choppy, isn't it?
remember, most recent support and resistance is all that matters right now.
Okay. So we've got some wicks here,
There you go.
and looks like we're about to break above those.
Yep. Nice. That's our higher low. Kind of sitting in this range right now. So if we
Yeah.
know if we reject this area, what could possibly happen? We reject this again.
Oh, come down and retest this low here. This
Yep.
support here.
We could break down over here, reject this level again, pull down. If you
Yeah.
retest that area, we got to see if that's even worth taking. But
Bit
then,
choppy. I mean, it's cleaner below here, isn't it, for
yeah,
some?
100%. I would probably just put that there. I don't know if I would even trade in here. Just depends on the setup
Yeah.
that we get right here.
Sure.
All that resistance, but
Yeah, but above
above that resistance,
above 13500, it's looking good.
Yeah.
It's looking nice.
100%. You're seeing the bullish pressure, right?
Yeah,
Seeing all this bullish pressure, it just needs some fundamentals to break through this area.
there's been lots of
We keep rejecting.
consolidation. Yeah, yeah,
Well, once we break above that area, you get a nice bullish close right here. Bottom wick, take this thing out. Clean move. Coming right into that resistance.
So do you reckon that might go up? That might fill that zone today?
It
on the
could. I mean,
GDP?
if we get really strong GDP or something like that, then
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Further weakness in the Japanese yen. Let's actually take
Excuse me.
the yen. Yen is, forming the lower highs over here. We're still kind of holding this support over here, but again, you see the bearish pressure. You see how we've turned over here. Right? You see how we've been forming those higher lows, higher highs. If you want to draw it like that, you see how we're like kind of changing direction here. Now you see this little support being held right there. Once that breaks, USD JPY is continuing right back up. If that support breaks on Japanese yen. Sometimes I like having it like this over here in the indices just because it just, with the yen over here, at least with this liquidity provider, very gappy. Right? It's kind of hard to tell. So if you just, switch things to this, you could really start to see, those lower highs being formed, right? The real sense of the direction.
Yeah, the line chart's good sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Helps.
For indices, I would say.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. So, all right. Good job, man. So this is the 1 hour. Now what are we doing?
Well, we need to close above there, don't we, really?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I mean, we'll see on the lower time frame too. Yeah, I'd agree. This whole area, I'd want to see a solid close above. Like not just like a small close, but like if you can see how small these candles are right here, that's not giving me much confidence. I want strong bodies. And then I want a candle like that. Right? To clear out of that area, bottom wick, the bullish, continue up.
And if it retests in here, would you consider taking anything in there, or is it just too choppy?
Are you saying like if we start to reject
Yeah, if we
right
start to reject it.
I wouldn't be taking any sells in here. Because like look what happened last time we tapped into that area. We rejected hard, but then we pulled back hard, and then we just like chop over here. So I think if you, depending on the setup that you get below here, then we know we're rejecting here for the third time, and we could possibly continue down over here. Even this is a little choppy, but I could say, confidently that if you get a nice setup right here, you could take price down from that area. You know what I'm saying? Now you're for the first time you're breaking the initial structure. Down here, you're breaking even harder.
Got it.
All right. So good job, man. Getting better with these.
Yeah, let's just have a look at the 30-minute.
Absolutely. I keep thinking that we're on the
Similar
30 minute.
story. Yeah, we need those fundamentals, don't we, to push us up.
Yeah. Now, if you get a heavy rejection right over here, right, and you see this level right here, you see how we faked it out right there?
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how big this range is, I think it's only 20 pips. Yep, that's only 20 pips. So it'd be questionable if you're going to take that. But the fact that we never actually closed and retested this area, that if you get a solid retest of this area, you might be able to grab earlier sells to continue down based on the fact that we keep rejecting that area. But what needs to happen fundamentally for that to happen?
I guess the dollar needs to. I guess if the GPD news goes against the dollar, and the Japanese yen maintains what little strength it's got, and then the dollar could push the dollar down.
Yep, we need a weak dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Weak dollar.
Yeah,
Dollar needs to
basically.
change a little bit its course because dollar's been, back at as the head honcho of the currencies right now. If you guys look at other than the NZD, because they just increased rates, but if you guys look at let's see, this is a great website. If you guys don't use this yet, I highly recommend it.
The
Especially if you
session
want,
wraps, yeah.
yeah, if you guys want to get into fundamentals a little bit more, go to forexlive.com, go to more, and then session wraps right here. And then the American session wrap is the last one of the day. It goes Asian, Pacific, European, and then the US America news wrap. This one gives you the whole wrap of the whole day pretty much. And then it gives you the change in percentage of the currencies, right? And the US dollar over here for yesterday was the third strongest, but over the course of the last 2-3 weeks since the beginning of February, this has pretty much been the top three, right? And then it gives you over here, the daily change US dollar against all of the pairs, the euro, GBP, JPY, CHF, CAD, Australian dollar, and New Zealand dollar over here. How much you gained against, GBP USD. How much you gained against Euro USD, USD JPY, USD CHF, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's useful.
Yeah, 100%. This gives you an idea, and the more you keep looking at this, the more you're going to get a sense of direction of a lot of these pairs and where they're going every single day. But reading through this gives you a great, indication of what's going on as far as what's going on around the world, the indices, all that stuff. What Powell was saying, FOMC meeting minutes showed that a few members.
Does that currency pair change chart appear in all the session wraps individually?
No, only American.
Only in the American one. Okay.
Yeah, because not because the American's any special, but because this is the last session of the day, so it's like the overall session wrap of what happened all day today, including everything else.
Yeah.
So arguably, you could just read this one every single day. But what I do is, I come to the charts and I read the Asian one because the European one isn't out yet. And what we could do is halfway through our session, the European one comes out, and then we could read that. But typically after our session, I'll go into here. One of my daily musts is, read through some of the fundamentals for 20 minutes, and I'll check through the European over here. And the European's a little bit, shorter over here because it's just the European session. What happened in Europe? What happened in Germany? UK, all that stuff. And then over here, just scroll over some of these points over here and see what's important to us. Which this one, should be important to all the Western world over here, which is not good. China's Wang. We are ready to deepen strategic cooperation with Russia. So if you want to learn more about that, you could just click on that article and read through this. Right? If you want to know more about German CPI year over year, you could just click on that. It'll give you more of the in-depth readings. Full story via Reuters. Never know how to pronounce that. Reuters?
Reuters.
Reuters? Okay.
Reuters, yeah.
So this is like the article over here. German inflation remains high at start of the year. This is a interesting website here. Pick Suite. Huh. I'm gonna check this out later. Trading. Okay. So does that help you guys? Forex Live? Like,
Yeah.
do you feel like if I know Lenny, you were talking about getting more into fundamentals, right? Yeah, this will be a great website for you guys.
Yeah, I've been looking at the wraps a bit. It's hard for me to extract like useful information out of it though because of my fundamental knowledge is. But it will come with time if I keep working at it.
100%. I'm just gonna send this into I'm gonna get back to all your DMs as well. I got 3 of them in there that is going through my morning routine. Didn't get a chance to look at them, but let's see. So good job, Charlie.
Thanks. It's getting easier to navigate these things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so what I'm working on right now is a little something on Forex Factory, just to go over a lot of the economic data coming out and how important some of these things are. So I'm trying to work on something like that for you. But yeah, I think a little crash course. I got something on fundamentals in the course right now that you guys could go through. That again, like our main focus and my main knowledge, I'm not going to hide it, is technicals, right? It's like that's what I know, right? And I'm not going to pretend to know more about one thing than I do. So fundamentals, I know a lot about. I know more than the average person, but that's not my specialty. I think my specialty is technicals and stuff. So I will teach you guys everything that I know about fundamentals and come up with a nice little crash course like that for you. Oh, Lynn, what is something that you'd like to know about it?
I think like the news that usually affects the price action. I think like going through those would be great.
Like
Like
economic data?
Yeah,
Okay.
like how are they affecting the prices and stuff like that, and
Okay.
what's the actual reasons behind the moves, the decisions that the government is making.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll start getting into more fundamentals, and also I think they probably seem daunting to a lot of you guys, maybe, right? Especially if you haven't gone through like an economics course or anything as far as studying in school or anything like that. If you haven't studied finance, if you haven't studied world politics and stuff like that, then fundamentals could be a little bit more daunting. It's the same exact thing as like if you're trading stocks, the fundamentals for you are sales of a company, price to earnings ratio. What is the CEO saying? All that stuff. When it comes to currencies, what we're looking at is the world. We're trading countries here. So like you're looking at GDP, you're looking at the interest rate of the country. What's the prime minister? What's the president saying about that country? What's the head of the central bank saying? Right. So that's what we pay attention to instead of stocks and the CEO and president of the companies and stuff like that. But I do think that fundamentals are a lot more simpler than many of you guys may think. Like I remember coming into the foreign exchange market just focusing on technicals, and then when I started getting into fundamentals, they seemed daunting at that time. Now they're like now it gets easy. It's you understand that the more you look at it, the more you read it, just like anything else, the more you back test, the better you get at technical analysis. The more you read articles, the more you read about certain economic data points coming out right over here. Just be a detective. Go through these. Understand what's going on when it comes to prelim GDP. What is this exactly? Ask yourself why, right? Go into the latest release over here for what it, when it provides that data, you can go into a lot of these articles over here and read through it. Gross domestic product, fourth quarter and year 2022. So this came out back in January. So, if you want to read through this stuff, you're more than welcome to do it. Like this is where you start to learn more and more, start asking questions, go through this article. But just like I said the other day, if you guys feel like you haven't mastered technicals, right? You should spend, if you have 3 hours, if you have a 3-hour deep work session, if you have like full-time jobs and stuff like that, You only have 3 hours to spend on trading. 2 of those hours should be spent on technicals. If that's what your main, like that's what you came into the market with, that's what you're, learning first. 2 hours towards technicals, 1 hour towards fundamentals. Or it could be 2.5 towards technicals, and then leave that 30 minutes left for articles. But again, sense of urgency. Get through things fast, have speed, good speed. That's where you want to focus on. You could get through a lot more articles a lot quicker if you're focusing on that instead of just dilly-dallying, reading articles and reading them slow and whatever. Obviously, you want to be efficient and obviously comprehend what you're reading, but at the same time, like, just focus on speed too. All right, so GJ is rejecting that area, right? We have now passed the low of the previous candle over here, right? Again, we're still sitting in a range. We did get a little fake out over here, and again, we are very bullish. So this could just be that pullback over here. I wouldn't say it's time to take any sells unless maybe you break below this area, retest this area, and then continue back down. But I don't think I would do that. I think safe sells are below here, right? And I think, if I'm correct,
You have a news now. It's 8:16, donc.
Yes, it's
It was
coming
to
out at
be
8:30.
Yeah, 8:30, but don't enter now.
No, you're not entering anything now.
No, not.
You are right.
Watch.
So if you want to draw a trend line over here, I see when you're kind of confused on trend lines or they're not, connecting multiple times, then I don't think I would draw them. But you obviously see the bullish trend that we've been respecting over here. And again, and this just shows what I told you guys months ago, right? When you get a setup where price is consolidating in an area and it comes down into an area over here, down into a range, and what we do is we hold that resistance, right? We hold a resistance right there. We come into here, retest that support, hold the same resistance, and then we start to come down and create like a little higher low. Hold the same resistance, create another higher low. Hold the same resistance, create another higher low, right? What typically happens out of a pattern like that? What does that show?
Flag.
It's getting weaker and it's gonna break out.
Exactly. It breaks out. You're getting these higher lows. You're starting to see the bullish structure, and then price breaks out. We went over that months ago when it came to this range right over here. You're seeing the higher lows being formed. Seeing the higher lows being formed. Now we break out. We created a new high. Clean move to the left. We're now retesting this area. This is no time to sell right now. There's no point of taking that short-term sell over here just to, like, again, there's times to take the pullback. And there's definitely a lot of times not to. A lot of times just to wait for the support to form and take this thing up. Again, we focus on making the right decisions in the moment. Pre-trade, during the trade, post-trade. Smart decisions. Pride yourself on making the right decisions in the moment. See this? You very easily, a lot of people see, oh, okay, resistance being formed. We're in a bullish trend, but fuck it. I'm taking the sell. Just wait for the lower pullback to be formed, take this up, and take that whole move up.
Stefanos
There you go. Yep.
I send you a picture. This is French, is a triangle ascendant, like triangle up, he said.
Yep. Yeah, so this is an ascending triangle where you have price pulling up into this area. We're coming up, holding the same resistance, higher low, same resistance, higher low, right? All of a sudden, we break right through that area. 100%. It's like an ascending triangle, they call it. Good job, man. Good job. All right, so looking at gold now. Again, just ranging, bouncing off this area. Got about 11 minutes left. 10 and a half to be exact. And look at that. US 30, what did I say? Deeper pullback into this area we could be getting. And then, again, price pulling back above this area. You get a solid bullish close. bottom wick form, past the high, continues right back up. But again, you're counter trend trading there, so you might want to be careful. And then also, I would actually just put that right there. You got a clean move coming up into that area. You see the 4 hour. 4 hour again, you're counter trend trading here, but this is one of those instances where you can catch the pullback into here to continue down, especially if we get good GDP. I think price could come back into that area just like it bounced off here, continue through, continue all the way up. Now, can we get a nice bullish push into here and then continue back down? And based on this setup right here, I see that happening. Like, if you look at these candles, you break down the candle body anatomy, you got a support being held with that doji candle right there with a wick to fill. This candle passed the low, already flipped bullish, and you're seeing the volume in the candle. So we could very well fill that wick and continue back up this way. Make sense? You're just playing history in this situation. Now, if we didn't have fundamentals coming out in the next 10 minutes, right over here, I would be waiting for this 30-minute candle to close bullish like this, and wait for the bottom wick to form, pass the high of that candle, and take this thing up. But at the same time, we have GDP coming out. We could get wick-sawed and whatever. We want to wait for price to kind of create its wick on either side and digest the market and really wait a few minutes for price to come out.
But Sharma, she says 5 minutes to keep
Yep.
Sharma, yeah.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. And I have a question. Now you have two news. One is GDP is red, and one is employment is orange. If the news is opposite, the GDP is good and the employment is bad, what do you think? You buy gold or the power? You understand what?
What do you think would happen if we got mixed news like that? What typically happens?
I think is red is more power for orange. Donc you
well, what's your question?
Orange.
Is your question, if this is really good and this is really bad?
Exactly, yes.
So what do you think happens if we get mixed data? What kind of market do we normally see? Do you know?
I think is the GDP is more important for employment. Donc his energy is more important.
Yeah, GDP is definitely
is more important.
Well, what does this look like?
Consolidation.
That's exactly what you get when you get mixed data. Obviously, GDP is more important than unemployment claims because we get this every month, and this is in every quarter data point, right? And it's obviously more important for the country, the GDP, rather than the unemployment rate, even though employment is an extremely strong indicator of an economy. GDP is still more important. But again, if you get mixed data over here, if you get 3.2 GDP over here, and then you get let's say 300,000 unemployment claims at the same time, you're going to see a huge bullish spike on a USD JPY or USD US 30. I'm sorry. And then you'll get a pullback, and then price is just going to consolidate after that. It's just going to be one move and then consolidation because the market's going to be confused. It's not going to know how to dictate. All right, we got 3.2 GDP quarter to quarter, but then we got 300,000 people claiming unemployment. That's not good. It's not good for an economy. So that's you might not even see that huge spike. It might just be like a quick spike and then consolidation in the same area. So that's how you dictate that. We got 6 minutes left. Quinn, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. Just haven't been sleeping much.
You haven't been what?
Sleeping much.
Haven't been sleeping much? That's not good. Why?
Just I've been I had like a meeting the day I went climbing, I had a mini meeting for work first. Then I went climbing. It was like 9:30, so I was back from climbing at 11 p.m. So and I wake up every day at 6:30 to go to the gym.
Dude, that's one thing I want to say. I'm proud of you for waking up now. Like that was a big struggle for you in the beginning, from what I
Yeah,
remember, right?
definitely.
And now
Yeah.
you're waking up at 6:30 every day. I love it. Are you working on
Mm.
anything earlier, or is that the lowest you're gonna get?
Oh no, I think that's a good time for me. I
Nice.
have the time to go hit a good workout and be back for pre-London.
That's awesome.
And I still have some time in the evening to do some stuff and get enough sleep, which I haven't been the past 3 days, but I'm gonna go to sleep earlier tonight.
Okay, awesome, man.
So yeah, it's amazing how much change it has put to in my life to be able to get a good hold on my sleeping schedule and waking up at the same time. Since January 2nd, there was 2 times where I didn't go to the gym first thing in the morning and I didn't wake up in time, and those were shitty days compared to all the rest.
Your whole day is dictated by how you spend your morning.
Yeah.
The morning is the hardest, but it's the most important. So if you wake up late, it's you're just starting to compound losses. If you wake up early, you make your bed, do all that stuff, you're compounding wins, and that gives you a better chance of succeeding through the day. But I think Lenny you were asking a question, right?
Yeah, for GDP.
Yeah.
Okay, say if it broke above, would you take it in that range? It's not a clean move, but
In this range?
This is not GDP.
US what are you looking for? GJ?
GJ, yeah.
Oh yeah. Would I take it in here?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's not clean move to the.
It's not clean. That's the one thing that you want to make sure. If you need a good setup right in here. You need to get like a good setup, something that you've seen, strong candles closing in your direction, nice wicks, stuff like that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is where, like, when you get ranges like this, you may want to keep a wider stop loss and understand you may end up getting bigger pullbacks instead of just like something pushing in your direction and just breaking its own highs, right? Breaking its own highs.
Yeah.
This, you might get pullbacks and continue up, pullback, continue up, right? It might be a little difficult. Now we're getting this liquidity grab over here, tapping right into the zone we talked about. Now, can we continue up? At this time, what are one of those the main bullets in your checklist under entry in your trading plan is what? Check the time, right?
Yeah.
We enter the trade to check the time. It's 8:37, 8:27. Okay, so we're close to a 30-minute candle close. So now we just want to wait for that candle to close before entering. Now, these are one of those rare, or not rare instances, but I don't do this. I don't trade like this, and I don't take news like this. But right over here, setting a buy stop right over here with your stop loss in the middle of this range might end up being successful. But
you only do that with the trend. Don't go.
I only do that with the trend, yeah. Well, I mean, again, like when you're sitting in a range like this over here, let's say it was a little bit smaller, you could potentially set a buy stop right up here and a sell stop right below here. Again, you got to understand that you're gambling doing that.
No,
right?
that's during news you're talking about.
That's with news, yeah.
I'm not talking about news. On a regular day.
Oh, regular day, yeah. I'm looking for just like a solid close above this area. Maybe if it's a solid, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're getting like today is Thursday. So if we get some good volume, you get a nice 15-minute candle closing above this area, that might be good. But you being that you're trading on the 30-minute right now, just wait for the 30 to close above that level and take that up. And now if price what happens is this candle creates this bottom wick over here and starts to flip bullish and then continues up like that and you miss this breakout, that's where I want you to just journal this, where you would possibly enter this, because sometimes you're going to find in your career on your pair that sometimes there is an entry before we close above that area, especially when you get price action like this. right? There might be an opportunity to take this before it actually closes above. And that's what you want to study and add to your arsenal as you go. Like you've played video games before, you know, you update your character. It's the same exact thing, you know, as a trader. You want to like add different swords, different guns, different things like into your belt so that you can eventually start to use those things. You want to buy them as you level up. And that's exactly how you do it in trading, except this time with trading, you're actually making money. So now GDP just came out. We just got a move. GJ is all over the place right here so far. Just got a little liquidity grab. Anybody know what the numbers are? Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. And a nice little push up. Oh, wow. GDP, okay, dropped. I'm not really surprised by that. Unemployment claims was good, right? So this is very mixed data, right? Again, this is more important and this is what people are going to pay more attention to. But I think we were expecting a lower GDP, which is not good for the country. So again, this is what I want to know about what's going on with these pairs when it comes to good news being good news, or is good news bad news, you know, when it comes to some of our currency pairs. So the dollar over here held a higher low over here, and it's still continuing up. Now, the big telltale sign is if we can close above this area right there. If that's the case, we're going to continue up, or if at least like break through that area, gold's going to continue down here. But I do like, again, we're expecting this, right? Like you would have to see a major change in like GDP over here for gold to reverse. The current fundamental sentiment right now for gold is down. US 30 down, right? Look at US 30 here. So now we just got news. Now what you want to do is wait for this candle to close below. I love this price action right over here, because if you get a strong bearish candle close right over here below that area, top wick forms, flips bearish, that thing should mirror that move all the way down. Makes sense? Just be careful in this area. Definitely wait for that close below here, because you are in a strong liquidity zone where price is tapped into this area. So based on what you see right here, what could possibly happen over here to the right that could happen with this price action? What could you see maybe happening here? Double bottom, continues back up to that area, and then continues back down. So right now, looking at this, I want to see in the lower time frames here. This is how you trade news, right? I would say I think a safe sell right over here on US 30. See how we keep projecting this area? I think maybe you might want to, if you want to grab this move right here, the best thing to do is wait for this close below. If you miss it, you miss it. But if you want to grab this, I think a safe stop loss right up here with your take profit right there will work out. If we end up closing back into this area at any point, then you want to secure, you want to close partials.
For Stefan, the gold is not he make opposite of the news. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. The dollar, that news, the GDP didn't really affect the dollar that much. News is not always going to play out exactly the way you think it will.
For gold, the news in gold, the relation.
Gold. So based on that GDP, right, this should possibly be going up. Gold, the dollar should be going down, right? But this is now just continuing the move. You're now just getting a volume push to continue what we heard yesterday from the Fed. The Fed yesterday is more important than GDP. Okay. That's what the market's telling you right now.
Okay.
Now, I want to look at GJ right now because we are breaking above that area, which is nice, right? Now, I could see, again, stop loss below this area and continue this up. Now, the best thing to do is obviously wait for the 30-minute to close above, at least the 15-minute to close above this area, because we could very well reject that area and then continue down, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm actually let me actually see something real quick. I'm contemplating entering this with my stop loss below here, with price pushing up like this with volume. I think we could continue up again with the stop loss down here all the way back up to that high up there. Japanese yen is continuing down, breaking through that support. This is what we were talking about. So I'm going to enter. Okay. So this is meant to be more of an intraday trade right here. Stop loss right there. TP around 80 pips away right here. So I'm looking for, if this candle ends up closing below the support, I can manage my risk. Right? But what I'm looking to do here is capitalize on the volume. Again, smartest thing to do is wait for the close above. But again, if you've seen this before, this is really based on this price action over here, right? And now the volume coming in, I could see price continuing right back up this way with a safe stop loss below support here, below the 30-minute support. Make sense? So now I'm just going to journal this. Gold is pulling back right now. GJ 223 23. That's just took that at 8:35. So we waited 5 minutes. AM. So you saw us pull back, and now we're continuing back up. 35 Thursday, New York. And then I'm going to put in parentheses US GDP. So it's the daily. Anybody have any questions so far? Everyone following what I'm saying? I want to make sure we're all on the same page here. So my trade. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you were going to give this setup a name, what would you call it?
A name?
Yeah.
On which time frame?
Well, this you've just taken this one on the 4 hour, did you say?
Well, no, I took this based on like the 30-minute, but I'm taking this really based on the daily and everything.
So you're intending to hold this for the rest of the day, right?
Yeah, like I said, this is more of an intraday trade.
Yeah.
So this one high created yesterday. So we got that. Now we're holding support. Now, like I said, we could possibly have taken the buy from down here if we didn't have the news coming out with your stop loss down here, looking to retest the high, you get a nice 1-to-1. But if you wanted to wait for news to come out, which would be smarter like we just did, you could possibly set a tighter stop loss over here and get a better risk to reward. This is a 2.8 to 1 if this succeeds. See, my stop loss is below the 1 hour over here. And capitalizing on volume. Hello formed after P. Anybody else in this same trade or just me?
Me, I make same.
Okay.
When volumes dies down, would you close the trade or?
Only my exit plan for this trade, which you should always have when you enter a trade, is if we close below this level. Okay? Because I have a nice wide stop loss below the 1 hour. But if we start to reject this level and fake that area out, I'm closing the full thing.
Full thing.
Yeah. Because I do think that there would be a possibility if that were to happen, we fake that out and we could come into here. There is a possibility that we create a higher low within this range over here and pull back into the range and then continue back up. That could possibly happen too. But again, my stop loss might be a little too tight. I'd be okay with that if I would only be closing 50 if my stop loss was below the 50 over here, or the 1 hour,
That's too
or the
long.
daily. I'm sorry. Right, I'd be completely okay with price pulling back into here. Now, if we pull back into here, hold a resistance and continue down, I'm closing another 50. We're closing the full thing. Make sense? So there's different scenarios for every different setup or stop loss.
The best thing is to wait until the 30-minute closes.
Yes, that's the best thing that you guys want to do if you're, a little bit just trying to get used to a trading plan and see if it works and how you like it and stuff like that. That's the best thing to do. I'm taking this because I've seen this before. I take advantage of volume, and I do think that after this price action, there's a good chance that we do close above that area and continue up.
The 162.07, that's the low of the day or low of the hour?
62.07, right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the low of the day. That we grabbed that at during London, held support, kind of faked a lot of people out over here, and now we're continuing right back up.
Okay.
See, a lot of people try to get greedy and sell. No offense, Chargil. I wasn't trying to call you out, by the way. I just remembered you did that as I was saying it. Oh, did you journal that trade, by the way? Chargil? Wow, look at this. Look at gold. Continuing the move from yesterday. Now, again, if you see a move like this on gold, right? And we called this out, based on that candle closing over here, right? That we could possibly grab this move over here to continue down. Again, stop loss would have been up here. You can enter as we're breaking the low over here. But right now, if you didn't catch this, you know that there's a high chance that price pulls back at some point to continue down, right? Do not try to catch a falling knife. This is where most of you guys get in trouble. Well, not you guys, but average traders. Undisciplined traders. Traders just looking to make money. Oh, here we go. US 30 over here. All right. Now, with me, what I'm still trying to do is get used to my trading plan for US 30. Right. So I'm not doing what I just did on GJ. I just know GJ, and I have a good feeling that price will continue up. With this one, US 30 likes to pull back a lot. Look what happened last time we tapped into this area and broke that support. Rejected, right? Now we have the volume and the data that could bring us down, but I'm not comfortable taking this down yet, right? Before that close above, or before that close below. I'd rather wait for that close below, wait for my typical setup, just like you guys are doing on GJ, and then, take that. But this just goes to show you that there are certain times as you guys get more and more experience with these pairs and you get to know them inside and out. Like I said, each one of these pairs is like a girlfriend. They all have their different personalities that you got to learn. So this one, I've been able to really get to know her. So this is just Aziz in this so far?
Yeah, me, I don't know, but me, I make a different strategy.
Okay.
Before the news, I put stop buy in GG in the up of the because I think the news is affect GG. I cannot after he test and I know he's buy in his zone. I wait for a buy.
Sounds good,
But
man. It's your account.
me, yeah, I know 100% the price to be buy. I
Well, you
say
don't
the
know
news
100%. That's the thing.
and the price is to be before the news in here, like is behind the resistance. I put up the stop enter and is okay now. I small size. I put small size to be
Sounds
swing
good.
for one day. No stress.
Sounds good. So now we're waiting for this close. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start journaling US 30. So we're creating that top wick over here in the daily. US 30 on 2 23 23 at AM Thursday, New York. Really? Wow. Now keep in mind too, after data comes out on US 30, what likes to have what typically happens on at 9:30?
Volume you have 90 volume.
Yes, you get volume, but you get a pullback on US 30 for the most part. So it's better to wait for 9:30 too, unless you put a safe stop loss up here, which I think will be safe. But you want a strong, clean close below that area. So the 15-minute closed on US or GJ. What ended up happening? Anybody see it? We get a close. Closed above. All right, cool. But the 15-minute is a weak time frame, so we're just gonna wait. For a minute. 15-minute did close above. So again, like if you guys are anticipating price continuing up over here and you're comfortable taking this, I think your safe stop loss is going to be below this area. All right, you got that close above on the 15-minute, we should be good. But just keep in mind, 15-minute is more of a weaker time frame. You may want to wait for the 30-minute, but I think with the volume today and the data, we should be able to continue up here.
Stefan, the best setup to trade today is GG, I think.
Okay. Yeah,
I think I like to know your what you think.
Yeah, I think US 30 is going to be good too. I know none of you guys traded yet, but
what tricky is US 30, man. I'm scared for him.
it is. Yeah, I
Very
definitely
tricky,
see
man.
that. I think gold is really nice too. If we could get some kind of a pullback, right, where we could just continue this trend over here that we've been following. But you know, especially for a lot of you guys like that you guys are GJ's your main pair, I would focus on GJ today because this is where you could turn one of those scalps into a swing and continue
Exactly.
this thing up.
And the gold, you don't have sense to now. The GDP is negative. Normally, the gold is to be up.
Gold
And when
typically
if there's no sense of the news, I don't like to trade gold.
okay.
You understand? There's no sense. No.
Absolutely.
Don't touch.
Don't touch. Okay, so let me take a little screenshot over here of the 15-minute. You're seeing the bullish pressure. Sergio, you there? No, you just came in. Really taking after Sammy, coming in here and going on your dates, huh? There is I've been back testing. Let's see what I did with this account. Been working on risking a little bit more. Where is it? Never mind. So I was able to gain around 11% on this backtesting account, 10.6%. And I thought I did it a lot quicker than 10 days or 30 days, but it was just about 30 days. But I think I was able to gain, I think, I wasn't seeing many setups in the beginning of February over here. Yeah, I think it was beginning of February. So I barely took anything in the beginning of February or anything of substantial, importance, and most of my percentage gain really came in the end of February, early March. So I was able to gain this 10.69% by risking a little bit more. I've been working on risking 2-3% on more trades than I typically do. You get more and more comfortable. Then you obviously get comfortable with even bigger accounts too. But that's one thing I've been working on. So we'll be doing that during our back testing too. I'll show you how we can risk more than 1 to 2%. We can risk 2, 3-4%. You really don't need to risk more than 3%, but there are some cases where you're very confident in the setup. Everything's clicking, everything's lining up, all time frames, setup is lining up, all that stuff where you can risk more and just you manage your risk, right? Just like you would on a smaller risk or anything like that on another setup.
What can you realistically get your win rate up to, do you reckon?
80%, I would say.
Yeah.
Mine is around 75.
Right, that's great.
So
it's
that.
I mean, more than you need, really, isn't it?
It is.
If you can keep it consistent.
You need more than 50 as a scalper. But when it comes to swing trading, like you could be successful with a 30 to 40% win rate as a swing trader. For me though, that would hurt my ego a little bit. Like I don't want to have
it's a lot of losses.
Exactly. It's just like I'd rather win more than lose more and make money. I'd rather win more and make more money than lose, and hold on to trades and wait 2-3 days to find out if my trade's a loser. Like that's just, I don't know, it's not my style. But
the more sure you are about your setups, I guess the more you can eventually over time risk on them, right?
Yes, 100%.
So it's just a win-win situation, really, with the discipline.
Guys, I'm telling you, like the trying to find a word for it. The road to victory in this game is first figuring out the skill, getting confident in your system, all that stuff. Don't worry about money yet. Eventually, you start turning a lot of these setups into a good return money wise, and you start focusing on money. How can I manage my risk? How can I increase my risk a little bit on these certain setups? Like that's the next step. But too many traders, when they first come in, focus on that step before the first step. And trust me, if you actually focus and put in the work in the beginning, that first step does not take that long. that first step from me when I first came into the market maybe only took around 9 months for me to really grasp technicals and breaking down charts and all that stuff. Anywhere from 7 to 9 months, right? And then I started getting into, you know, risking more, all that stuff, making more. So this is still holding support over here. Still getting that push. We got about, what is it, 6 minutes before this 1 hour closes. Hopefully we close above. Right? Next one creates a bottom wick, continues right back up. Now, in a better world, I would love to have a clean move to the left here, right? But our setup right over here is looking pretty good. And I'm going to keep my stop loss down here below the 1 hour because I don't want to be sweating through this trade. Tighter your stop loss, the more you're sweating.
Stefan, which place in gold to buy?
So wow, we just pulled back pretty hard here.
Because it's like hammer in here to be some
Wait,
hammer.
to buy, you're not buying in this, are you?
Because the news.
Yeah, don't
think
wait.
in 30
Don't
minutes
wait, hold
to
on,
be
hold on.
hammer, to be hammer and direction to be changed.
Okay,
If you have hammer, it change.
but where would safe buys be?
Me, I'm ask you. Me, I don't buy. I'm scared
Okay.
because I'm the opposite of the momentum, and the news is green. Normally, the gold is to be up because the news is bad, and now the markets he integrate the news. You see the hammer, he create hammer the direction to be changed.
So
and me,
wait,
I don't
Aziz,
touch,
let me answer
gold.
your first question. So when it comes to gold over here, right? Like I said, the news is not always going to play out the way you think. Now, I could see, you know, after a rejection like this, if you get a strong close above this area, these will be high risk, high reward buys. These will be safer buys right over here, right? But you're not going to blindly buy right now. Where's your stop loss going to be? All the way down here?
No, me, I ask
Exactly.
you.
So you want to wait for maybe a close above this area. Maybe that would work out. And the way I could see that playing out is because we have these supports over here to the left. But keep in mind that over here, this is where market starts changing structure. If we start to hold this support right here and break above this area, right? So you want to trade what you see, not what you think. So wait for these candles to close. Wait for, if this candle like just pulled back pretty hard like that, right? Wait for this candle to close first. Wait for a candle to close above this area. And then maybe you could grab this range because you do have a clean move and you have 50 pips in there. So that's a big enough range right there. And then obviously you could grab this whole range right over here if you want to as well. But just wait, be patient. You don't need to grab every single move, you know, before it even happens. Just want you guys to touch. There you go.
I think probably 1833.27 for gold.
For gold, 1833.27. Yeah, that's safe buys up there.
Yeah.
Like I said, because of this price action right over here, I could see, you know, you taking a move right in here. Right? If price is really rejecting, like that's a big liquidity grab. If this thing closes a strong bullish candle, then yeah, I mean, I could see buys being right in here. You grabbing this move, but keep in mind that like we may not break above this area. This might be where price taps into, and then we continue down to fill that wick. Because we just created a new low down here. Even though that's a liquidity grab and that candle closes bullish, this is still a new low that we have on the week. So we just created a new range that we could end up filling at some point.
And it's trending bearish.
We're very bearish on gold. And the fundamentals are on the bearish side as well. Right? But again, keep in mind that we're tapping into, we crossed 1830, but we're not tapping into this area. And we could just be wanting to tap into the bottom part of it before price continues back up. But again, like the whole structure of what Powell was saying yesterday, and like we need to hear a lot of dovish statements. We need to hear like, okay, we're only going to be increasing by 25 basis points. Inflation's not that serious. All that stuff. Remember, like technicals only happen based on what happens fundamentally. These candles are just a visual representation of how the market and either anticipates or digests what's happening in the fundamental world. Yeah, we're bouncing off this area. Yeah, I could see that, Aziz. But like I said, you just want to be safe. You don't want to just guess.
No, me, I don't buy nothing. I will do nothing. But I ask
Yep.
a question. Some people, when you have hammer, big hammer like that, he buy after the hammer because
Yeah,
the
some
direction.
people, yeah.
Yeah, not
I
others.
don't do that.
Yeah.
But so we just got a strong like US 30 over here. I could see this continuing down, but we closed above this level. That's why we wait over here. So
Yeah.
rather see it close below this level before continuing this down. But on GJ's case, GJ might be our best setup because
Yeah,
GJ
but
closed a strong bullish on the 30-minute and the 1 hour, which if you guys aren't in this yet or you are in it, you guys should be journaling this right now. Wait for the bottom wick on the 1 hour, pass the high of the previous candle, take this thing up. And you guys might even have a tighter stop loss than me, but I'll give you a good answer on that in a second. You might want to have the same stop loss so that you could catch this entire move. Because right now you're taking the breakout, and there's a high chance that we can break out, you get a nice move, and then you get the retest, and then continue up. Especially with that price action to the left. What is this? I want this.
And GJ is bullish, right, on the trend?
GJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, very. Is this the 1 hour? Yeah, 1 hour close. The 15-minute closed a weaker bullish candle over here. Would not like to see it be passed. In that case, I may end up managing a little risk, maybe taking off like 25, 30% if we pass the low of the previous 15-minute. But we should still be good because we're taking this based off like the 1 hour. Just don't want to see a fake out there. Yeah, this is still the first 2 minutes of the candle, right? We still could be creating that bottom wick and continue up. We'll see. And then plus, if you're looking at this, price could just be retesting these candles here on the 1 hour. Right? So just try not to micromanage.
The 4 hour looks strong as well.
Yeah, 4 hour looks great.
Yeah.
100%. 4 hour, 4 hour just closed. Right? So it should be creating that bottom wick there anyway. What's up, Sergio?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good.
Were you able to journal that trade that you lost on GJ? You want to go over it?
Yeah. I haven't wrote on anything on the description yet, but
That's fine. You could just describe it to us.
you want me to describe it on your chart?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we could do that. So where'd you take this sell? Right here?
Yeah, it was that one.
That close?
Yeah, I risked 1% on the trade. I only lost 0.5.
Good job. Awesome.
So I think I managed risk perfectly. But the thing that I could have done is waited for a close below that level over there.
Okay. You're on your phone?
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Yeah. I know those drawings. Yeah, selling into this area, where would you say safer sells would have been?
I think it would have been below the most recent support, like where your support is.
Right here.
Yeah, safer sales would have been below there.
And you would want to wait for what? Right here.
I'd want to wait for a close below there, and
What-
obviously at least a top wick rejection from that area.
Exactly. You want to wait for the rejection.
Yeah. Steph, could we go on the 30-minute? I
Yeah.
was just looking at one more thing on the trade that I took previously. Yeah, one sec. I was just looking at this, like, because obviously we wicked up, and after we flipped bearish over here, I was thinking of maybe getting right over there on the flip of that candle.
Mhm.
And it's because I've seen that set up a lot. Like, we've gone up, we've broken the highs, we've completely rejected that area, and we've reflipped bullish again. I would have got a chance to catch a 1-to-1 over there instead of waiting for that candle to close.
Yeah, let me just measure this though. Let's see. After that candle closed, see that to that low is only 17 pips. Is that big enough
Yeah.
for you, TJ?
No, I'll be looking for 20 pips and more.
20, 25.
Yeah.
That's probably what you want to look for. That, you know, that counter trend is probably not worth it.
Yeah.
You know? Somebody send something in the chat. Get the head off. All right, Charlie left. All right. Anybody in this yet, or are you just waiting? Because now if you're waiting over here, right, you could wait for the support to form here, wait for a nice 30-minute bullish candle close, and then you could have an even tighter stop loss to continue up.
I'm just waiting for it to pass the high.
Okay. It's pulling back right now. First half of the candle, it's creating that bottom wick. It's only been 6 minutes. This structure, we should be able to push up, and I should at least get the 1-to-1. Now, again, if we close below that area, I really took this on really based on the 1 hour. The stop loss is based on the 1 hour as well. Right? I would say you manage on the 30-minute. So I know the 15-minute passed low that candle, but I'm not going to micromanage right now. Your objective as you trade is you need to enter trade. The way you don't micromanage is you don't enter trades with too much risk. Right? If you're not comfortable with your full stop loss being hit and being okay with it, then you're risking too much. Now, the game is obviously, I always say it, is to lose less than you risked. But at the same time, you know, you got to be okay with your full stop loss being hit. If you're not, too much on the line. See, I see heavy snow right here. But I'm not seeing anything outside. I guess we're not getting snow. Gotta
Did it
guess.
snow, did it snow yesterday?
This is what's up?
Did it snow yesterday?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
But it's saying heavy snow. Oh, now it's saying mostly cloudy. I guess I had to what's it called? Had to update. Oh wow. So now we're holding support. You just gotta be patient. Anyone been back testing a lot?
Yeah,
Yeah. Awesome.
yeah. I tested the news yesterday.
Did you get the simulator yet with these?
Yes, I buy before I have my simulate. Same
Okay.
simulate like you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, use that.
Yeah, now I use more. This Stefanos, your trade GG, the only thing is no very 100%. The left side in here is dirty. You have a
Yes.
lot candle.
Yeah. I
You
agree.
suffer in this area. You suffer a little bit after he up.
Well, you
Yes.
don't. So I like to teach you guys how to stay cool, calm, and collected in your trade. So I don't let the emotions get to me. I hate that word suffer. So it's you gotta wait. You gotta be more patient in that area.
Yeah, me, I take small size. I'm not. If I take big size, yeah, I suffer.
There you go.
Take-
All right. Well, no more suffering, man.
No, so yeah. Take this.
Now, what I'm curious about is if we could possibly be rejecting this previous support right in here, which I wouldn't like. But I think we're good. Like based on our price action here and continuing the move from Tuesday, right? We get the pullback on Wednesday. Now Tuesday continues us up. That's how it should be.
Yeah, it's good. Good trading.
So let's see. There we go.
Now, in 15 minutes in gold, he make a engulfing candle. The green to be more big for red.
15 minutes. 1 second. So you said what?
In gold. In
Gold.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Gold ended up flipping bullish over here and closing bullish. Big liquidity grab here, right? If
And-
this candle, I could see if this candle creates a bottom wick, passes the high of that candle, this would be a little bit more risky, but stop loss below this candle right here to take this thing up. But you just keep in mind you're below all these EMAs here, so you're counter trend trading.
Yeah, I
think it's
don't trade
safer
for
by-
small. Yeah, I don't trade in here. But
Right.
me in 15 minutes, if you see 15-minute time frame, 15 minutes is going engulfing candle. The
Yes.
green to be more big. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
I think a safer buy would be above this level, or after we close. I could see a
Yeah.
buy after it passes the high of that wick right there, but you just want to be safe.
Yeah.
Looking US30 over here, still holding support. I like that price action over here. It could just be pulling into this area here and then continue down later on, or we just hold support and continue right back up. But we're ready for both. GJ right now is starting to flip bullish. I mean, to be honest with you guys, like this is still a breakout trade. So I might end up, if I were you guys, I may put my stop loss below the previous 30-minute just to be safe. You could technically put it below the entry right over here, but you're really looking to manage majority of the risk at 1-to-1 if that's what you were going to do. But if you put it down here, you could possibly grab this whole move throughout the rest of the day. And you'd be able to sit through a potential retest of this area before continuing out. So Lenny, I don't think you were on when I went over this before, but unfortunately next week we're only gonna have one live stream, and that's gonna be on Wednesday, midweek, nice midweek live stream. I'm gonna be going back down to Washington DC to visit with my wife's family, so we gotta see them. But next week is gonna be heavily emphasized on one-on-one Zooms as well. So if you want to hop on a Zoom, we'll do like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, just go over how your week was and all that stuff and how you're doing in that next week as well. And then that's what most of next week. But I think Wednesday morning I'm gonna do like a midweek live stream for you guys, and we'll just go over everything, maybe get some nice volume. What are we looking at for next week? Fundamentally. Core durable goods is coming out. GDP coming out for Canada. I must call it Canada. US dollar consumer confidence coming out. CPI coming out for Australia. And then Wednesday, we got ISM manufacturing PMI coming out later on in the morning. CPI coming out for Europe. And then ISM services PMI coming out for ISM services PMI coming out for all of Europe and the US on Friday. Okay. So, it'll be the same thing though, as far as discussing different trades in the live set in the community and in the New York session as well. But that's what next week will be. Just patiently wait. Are you in, Lenny?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Quinn, you there, buddy?
Yeah.
Awesome. You sound so tired. You in?
Yeah. No, I didn't take it.
Okay. Anything holding you back?
Just not really my setup. Not really the setup I know.
Okay. Nice. You gonna journal it though?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
This is like more of a structural setup, I'd say, where
Okay.
you really are expecting price to retest the high based on the higher time frames.
Mm-hmm.
Although for that you're expecting that price will go through that consolidation to the left, and so
Yes.
I haven't been taking those trades on the simulator or anywhere and really journaling that type of trade, so I'm not gonna
Okay.
take that.
Fair enough, man. I like it. I like it. If you're not comfortable, you don't take it. I don't want you guys taking trades in here if you're not comfortable with it. But at least if they're winners, journal them. 15-minute. I don't like this 15-minute. I love the 1 hour, and that's what I'm taking this based off of. I don't like the 15-minute. You know, how these long wicks over here. So if this candle passes the low, I think I may end up managing, but we'll see. I want to see the 15-minute holding support here and then continue up.
We're not seeing volume.
No, not as much right now. But stock exchange open should give us a nice little push.
Yep.
Let me see. I want to see some more weakness. See the Japanese yen on the 1 hour just closed a strong bearish candle below that support. So now, right now, we're just getting that pullback over here. And if this candle could hold resistance and continue down, right, you're going to see GJ continue up.
The gold is break.
Yeah, I might be looking.
There we go. Yeah, like I said, gold below, stop loss below this candle. I think this could possibly work out. It's a little risky, but I could see this playing out. I've seen this before. US dollar over here. Yeah, dollar's pulling back. That's what's going on right now. You got the dollar wanted to retest this resistance one more time, and right now we're rejecting it. So gold could be continuing up here, right? Safer buys can be above here, but I could see like a close above this area, which I think you got on the no, you didn't get it on the 15-minute, but yeah, I could see this thing playing out. It's range right here. You got about 50 pips in this area. That's big enough for gold.
One point.
All right, so being that this is more of an intraday trade, we're not going to be sitting here all day, but I'm going to give you guys updates if I manage risk over here or if I, grab some profits at 1-to-1, which I will be 28 pips, and then I'm going to let the rest of it run and continue up over here. So I'm going to secure one position at 1-to-1, the rest of it I'm going to let go. If we close below this level, then 700 over here, then I'll be managing risk. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. So I'll see you guys at 1 o'clock. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you guys are trading right now, you guys, see we're passing the low of that candle right now. I'm not going to micromanage, going to wait for 9:30. Yeah, I don't like how we passed the high of that candle. Now we're pulling back. I just think, we could be pulling back into here and then continue back up, but we'll see. I think I have a safe enough stop loss down here that we can easily manage this. But I will see you guys at 1 o'clock. Great job, guys, and I'll see you guys then.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, boys. Good job today.
Have a good day.
You too.